Are you ready? You ready for an actual kind of report? I don't want to be some kind of psychic where I'm like, I'm an intuitive and I'm going to tell you something. That's a very, very for sure prediction to me of the next 6 weeks, whether it's inside or outside. I want to just tell you guys something that I know for sure is happening. And that's that all control, whether it's inside of you or outside of you, has no control over you anymore. There has been so much pain in the last year and a half because there has been so much light shining on the truth. And when light shines on the truth, the darkness is the lie that has to come to light, right? The old story that says, this can't be, I'm this small thing, I'm this job, I'm this relationship, I'm this whatever. And then the light shines on that and goes, no, and you're so much more. And anything you're worried about on the outside, I'm telling you right now, if it's based on control, it's done. It's done. You're going to see it for the next 6 weeks. You're going to see the light shine on everything. And it's going to be hard for the people that aren't ready for it. And it's going to be very, very easy for you. Someone just wrote, why 6 weeks? Well, first of all, that is a changeable thing, but I can tell and you can feel. Do you notice how just yesterday was so much more energy than a month ago, what a day a month ago was? Like the amount of change that happens in a day now is what 10 years ago would be like a long time. And now it's even exponentially bigger and bigger and bigger. The light is shining everywhere. And people are waking up everywhere. And when that happens, the factor is just the awakening. The factor is just seeing it. And there are so many things that you might feel like are closing in on you, whether it's control inside of you, whether it's control outside. But the second you see that it's closing in on you, you're seeing it. Because the darkness was always closing in on you, but you didn't see it 10 years ago. The darkness was always closing in, but we didn't see it. Now you see it. And the number one thing that ends darkness is light. So as you've done these meditations, as you've gotten present, as you really have seen things, it comes to the light. And it's coming to the light everywhere. Darkness is always closing in on you. You just didn't see it. There are things that we're discovering about the outside world that were always the truth about the outside world, but we didn't know that before. We didn't see it. You would not be here. You would not be here if you hadn't been doing this work. And even if you feel some darkness, it's just the remainder that's going to fall off your back. It's just going to roll right off of you. Even if it's really painful, that's because it's on its final legs and it's screaming. And so any part of you that feels like anything is closing in on you, whether it's internal or external, see it like the bad guy in a movie that's just reaching like this as it's falling over, right? You're just here. And your job is to get that you're just here. You're just here. Just stay in your power, stay in your presence, stay alive, stay here. And sometimes something will feel like it grabs you, but how much quicker are the things that are grabbing you falling off of you? Does anyone else see what I'm talking about? Oh my God, I feel the most darkness I've ever felt in my life. I don't know if I'll ever get over this. 1 hour later, I don't know where it went. Because it's just like the final purge. Imagine, like I've said before, imagine it used to be a car that was underwater in the ocean. Now imagine that the car is out of the ocean on a crane and the water's falling out of it, and just know it's painful. That would be heavier, right? It would rather be in the ocean, kind of oblivious, and let the water just go in and out. But if the crane has it right here, the water's just falling out, right? And then it just keeps falling out, keeps falling out, keeps falling out. And eventually the car is lighter and free and doesn't need to be full of all that water anymore. So one person just said, I can't sleep. The energy's moving through me. Completely understand that's happening right now. You're going to have different sleep patterns. Some of you, I check this out. Did you notice some of you, as you lighten your energy, need to eat way less food? Is anyone else seeing that? The higher you go in vibration, your body doesn't want nearly as much food. Because a caterpillar eats thousands of times its weight every day. A butterfly eats much less than a caterpillar, right? You need less. Your body is much more on the fasting side than on the how much cake can I eat at this Italian restaurant? It's just done, right? It's just falling off because you're connecting to you. And so many things that don't align with you are falling off of you. So many things that don't work are falling off of you. The wrong relationship, the wrong friendship, and all the inner patterns that would have grabbed and created those relationships and friendships are falling off of you. So it's not only the external falling off of you, it's the little patterns inside of your body that would want those things. The little addictive patterns, those were not you. Those were things that are just coming to light. Why? Because you're meditating, you're here, you're freer, and you're seeing the world do its final act that isn't you. It's doing everything it can. It's loud as hell. It's so obvious now. And there's a famous movie called What's Love Got to Do with It? And it's the story of Ike and Tina Turner. And if you don't know the story, Ike Turner was this blues musician who later we know as Tina Turner, this woman at a bar who's an incredible singer. And she's the light. She's the energy that's just completely a free spirit singer who's just wonderful. And he created this identity like, you're nothing without me. And I'm going to have control over you, and I'm going to dominate you, and I'm going to take all your money, and I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to do all this stuff. And here she is as this light. And everything in my life, I always give it the Ike and Tina Turner test. And that's obviously when Tina Turner got away from him, which took a lot of courage to do, because at the time she didn't know she was going to be the Tina Turner. All she knew was she was leaving Ike and Tina Turner, who was very famous for many hit songs, including Proud Mary and all this other stuff. But when she got enough light in her, he had no power over her. And when there was just a day where the factor was she had enough light in her to leave. She had enough light in her to fight back. And what it took was her seeing what he was, seeing what he was doing. It just took, and what she did, she could have done years earlier, but she didn't have the awareness of that. And when she left, if you don't know the story, she ran out of a car when he was beating her. She fought back. She goes to a hotel. She tells the person at the hotel, I'm Tina Turner. I don't have any money. Can I just stay here tonight? I'll figure it out. Then she divorces him, says, I don't want $1. I just want the name. I just want the name. I don't want $1 from that situation. She energetically cleared herself of the old story and then became Tina Turner. Now, the factor was her seeing, because he was beating her years before, but she didn't see what she ended up seeing one day. Nothing changed, right? It was just her seeing his fear, seeing that control wasn't what it looked like. There was a seeing, like, I see your fear. You're not the scary controller. Like, he created the illusion for her that she's nothing without him, but the truth was the opposite. He needed her name. He needed to be like, I'm why she's famous. He needed to have that to kind of suck off of and say, this is it. This is the same thing. And I'm not just talking about external. I'm talking about the fear in your body, the pain in your body. The control that's in your body. Can you see its fear? Can you see everything on the external doing its final thing? You know, when she left Ike Turner, he's like, you'll be nothing without me. I'm going to ruin you. And she was now immune to him. She's like, I'm not worried about it. You can ruin me because you can't, I don't want your money. Like, she's like, I'm untouchable because you have nothing. I have nothing you can take from me because I don't want any of it. So she just let him have all the money and then freed herself energetically and made grillions more as Tina Turner. That's happening inside and outside of you right now. And it's not something that you even have to actively do anymore. Do you understand that? It's not something where you're like, how do I get over this? Just so you know, you've passed the tipping point. It's just gonna come off now. All you got to do is stay present, stay alive. If you get caught in fear, it'll be so quick now. Do you understand that? If you get caught in fear, it's just oh, that's fear. It's just such an obvious vibration dip, right? If you're like freaking out and you feel guilt and shame, you have an awareness that's bigger than it already, and you're going, that's not true, right? I already know. And the thing that's now scared is not you. It's the thing that's in fear, meaning you're here and the energy you thought you were, right? The energy you thought you were, you're realizing is not what you are. And now the fear is scared of you. And anyone who's trying to control you is scared of you. Anything that's trying to control you, any government that's trying to control you is horrified of you because the light is too bright. The light's too bright now. And so in, maybe 8 months ago, we'd be like, what do I need to do? And we did all this inner work and we meditate and all this stuff and still meditate and do that stuff. But know that you've graduated energetically and you're on the other side. And even if you try to do something addictive, you're going to feel so not into it and not excited about it because you're on the freer side. So like try to do one of your addictions and watch how quickly you go, never mind. Try to get whatever, that X back, try to eat the bad food, try to get drunk and watch how quickly you'll just have a sip of vodka and be like, what the hell am I doing? Right? And I'm not talking to everyone in the world. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to anyone who's here doing this. And your other next job is to free yourself from other people who aren't freeing themselves, because you could be enabling people to stay in that by trying to change them. You're here to let go of what God is trying to do. Let God do it. You just raise your vibration now. You be in the frequency of what the new world looks like. Don't try to pull everyone else off the ground. Let the story of that person needs to change break off of you, and you get here. And get here. Deidre says, I was writing about this morning. That's because we're all one. That's because we're all one. We're one right now. And the new world will prove we're one. We're going to have all kinds of synchronicities and psychic revelations and awareness of what is true. This is actually a thing. The way you transcend tyranny is through oneness. It's not through only resistance and being at the same frequency as the tyranny. It's through oneness. We are also here to create a frequency of the new world, and you're doing it. And your job is to just see everything that's coming at you as it's don't worry about it. Don't even resist it. Don't get into things, but don't get too caught in the same frequency of it. It's falling. You just stay here. Imagine now you're in a bubble and your bubble is protected. And there's less of a you now. Do you notice this? There's less of a you. Do you get what I mean by that? What do I do? Do you notice that voice is a little quieter and it's just more here? Who's I? Oh, I'll do this. How quickly, 20 years ago when you said, what do I do? You did it and you stuck with it. I've had recent clients that are like, I'm trying to do something and then I give up and I fail at it. I'm like, you didn't fail at all. You're moving frequencies. So any linear mission is going to change. Do you understand that? Like you're on an elevator and you're going, what do I do? And when you're looking at timelines, you're looking down that floor, but you don't get that the elevator is going to change. So you just let go of the floors. It's got you now. It's got you. It's the elevator is moving too fast. So you can't quite see time anymore. But you can start to get you're an elevator and see, oh, okay, time includes the elevator. So there's this exponential climb that really I will always be aware that I can't quite see, but this elevator is exponentially moving faster and faster and faster. So my job is just to go, holy shit. And I'm telling you right now, you're not going to believe the next 6 weeks. I was talking to Mary on my team last night and I said, like a bridge or a building falls in a second. It might hold on for a long time, but if you ever see the footage of like the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, it's just like rocking. There's in Seattle, like they're in Tacoma, Washington, like I don't remember, like 50 years ago, the bridge is like rocking like this. There's a car on it. You see some guy like running off the bridge, like, hello, and then just 1 minute, it just collapses and it just collapses. We're at this right now. This is where we are. Move into surrender and know that this rocking is not you. When the bridge falls, you'll still be here. Let it fall. Let your ego collapse. Let yourself be wrong about what you thought the world was. Then like 20 minutes of falling. And then a new acclamation as you're like, I don't know anything anymore. And it's like, right, welcome to God. Watch as this new presence just comes in and you've lost your what do I do? You just feel unconditional love. Hill says, what if all your family disowns you? That's fine. They're making room for God to own you. What if all your family disowns you? You'll be here. You'll be present. You'll be fine. And if anyone disowns you because of your journey and you being authentically you, that's supposed to happen. If you're being disowned, because you're becoming a butterfly, thank God you're being disowned. What are you going to do? Shove yourself back into caterpillar? It's okay. Isn't it funny the word is disowned? They don't own you anymore. The word wasn't disloved. The word wasn't dissupported. My mom disowned me. Thank God no one owns you anymore. Keep being your free self, because a frequency that owns you will not be able to hold you. If you're freeing yourself, A frequency that would own you is screwed because everyone that wants ownership of you has lost their grasp of you. That's the point of this call. And in the new world, you don't want to own anyone and you don't want to be owned. You want to love. You want to support. You want to encourage. You want to expand. You want oneness. You want permission. You want to be heard. You don't want to be owned. The old world is about owning. What's life if nobody owns you? The first step is no one can own you from the inside. You follow your light. No one can own it. No one can control you anymore. What will you experience if no one can control you anymore? And what else can't own you anymore, like Netflix or YouTube or the world? And what is it replaced by? Whatever owned you, what are we going to replace it with? How about we find out? Remember the old days when meditation was this like hard thing that you needed to do, and now it's just you connecting to the true essence of you. It's you letting go of everything that doesn't own you anymore and just being here. And watch as you just do a decent sized meditation every day, how many more things don't own you. How about a friendship or a relationship based on love? Not based on owning. A question that just came up is, can we talk about healthy boundaries and others when it seems to come up? Well, the more you're in your light, the more you're divinely protected. You have divine boundaries too. Yes, if you're still entangled in them, maybe you need to create a boundary to break off of them. But at one point, your elevator is just too fast for anyone. And so you're divinely boundaried already. Your frequency protects you. Take a deep breath in. How about we listen to what's here? Because it's louder than the old world. Get ready. Everyone listen. Listen to the silence that's here on the other side of you being owned. Could you imagine a parent saying, I'm disowning you? Yay! What am I, your dog? You know, you hear stories of people that trap people and they have people chained up or whatever, and then you can do that emotionally too, right? You can be chained up emotionally, but that's not necessarily because of what the external is doing. That's because of your lack of awareness. Someone just asked, do you mean there is a shift in the next 6 weeks for all of humanity or for us on the call? Everything in the world. First of all, everything's shifting, but right now it's shifting so clearly and so fast and so obviously that 6 weeks from now it'll be a different world than now. And there will be parts of darkness that feel like it's closing in so much. And then that's what's needed to even counter the light even faster. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there'll be times where things feel really scary and then you're free. That's how meditation works. That's how ayahuasca works. That's what happens. You start ayahuasca and it's crazy. And then the next thing you know, there's 5 demons and your grandpa yelling at you, and then you're floating somewhere else and it's crazy. And then it's just God. It's like, I need to purge what's in here and welcome to the now. And you can do it also with meditation. When you start to listen to silence and you hear that pattern that goes, I can't do this, whatever, that's the darkness fighting. And you stay in it and you see it and it goes to light.